YouTube, how's it going? I'm back with some off-season news and rumors. It's heating up. Free agency starts on the 12th, officially on the 14th, but it starts getting crazy on the 12th. It's going to be insane this year, but it's already starting to heat up. Crazy rumors flying around. A lot of them we expect to be true, pretty accurate. So we're going to break them down, maybe give you guys some predictions on where these guys will land, maybe some trade discussions here. So we're going to discuss quite a bit here. Also got other free agency predictions, mock drafts, all kinds of stuff. Combine just ended. It was great. We'll break that down. We'll get one of these videos for the draft, rumors on the draft, what's going to happen. All kinds of fun stuff. So be on the lookout for all that. But let's get into it. Who's the number one free agent? It's Kirk Cousins. Now, a few days ago, I think we learned, everybody pretty much knew, between the Jets, the Broncos, the Vikings, Cardinals. Those are the four teams. It's really starting to break down. It seems true, but it seems like that all four of those teams have interest, but it sounds like he might be landing with the Vikings, which is very surprising to me. I'm one of the first free agency prediction videos I made. Maybe I made it a little too early. Vikings were the team I took off first or very early. I didn't expect them to spend a lot of money. I mean, it still didn't happen. We still got to see the contract, but it's very surprising. Apparently, there's people on the Jet staff and the Broncos staff that believe that they got to look at their plan B, and because the Vikings maybe the front runner for Kirk Cousins. Supposedly the Jets could offer the most, but he wants to win, so it makes sense to go to the Vikings. I think the Broncos can still win. I think they're in a win now position. Look at the Cardinals too. I think they can make a playoff run with Kirk Cousins. I don't know if they can win the Super Bowl, but interesting. It's gonna be wild to see him on the Vikings if that's the case. Still surprising because the Vikings don't really drop a lot of money on free agents. They want to keep their guys together. They want to keep it balanced across the roster, which they do have a balanced roster right now. So I guess obviously Kirk Cousins is better than what they had. Obviously Case Keenum played well, very good actually I should say. Bradford was good when healthy. That's the key word. And Teddy, we don't really know what's going on with him after his injury. So obviously Kirk Cousins is better. The question is it going to hurt them because they have a lot of young talent that their contracts are coming to an end soon. So can they get all the guys back? It's going to be interesting. The contract details, if he goes to the Vikings, it wouldn't be too surprising if he still went to the Broncos, Jets, or even the Cardinals, and Larry Fitzgerald was trying to recruit him. Are the Browns completely out of the mix? That's the question. But Vikings seem to be the front runner, but I think that's still going to surprise me if they do make the deal. It's something else. Obviously, they're a contender with him. It'd be nice to see him play indoors at US Bank for at least 8 games a year. I think it'll help him improve, especially with Diggs and Thielen and Dalvin Cook at running back if he's healthy. Man, he's got the weapons. No excuses anymore. I mean, he's been playing at a high level with no excuses, but I mean, really now's his time if that's the case. But we'll see. Can't wait for the 12th. Another quarterback, Vikings quarterback actually, Case Keenum. Where's he going to go? Supposed to be not going back to the Vikings. No franchise tag, so it means no deal. Their target is Kirk Cousins. What if they miss out on Kirk Cousins? Is Keenum still around? Maybe a team like the Broncos, maybe a team like the Jets, the Cardinals, the Browns, I leave in the discussion. Maybe they just pull the trigger right away on Keenum because they know that they're not getting Kirk Cousins. It's going to be very interesting. Back on the Kirk Cousins thing, what I was told is if he goes to Minnesota on a visit and leaves and is going somewhere else, he's not signing with the Vikings. They basically lowballed him, or he's really just looking for more money if that's the case. But we don't expect that to happen. But again, if he goes to Minnesota, leaves, and goes on another visit, very likely he's not going to the Vikings. But Case Keenum seems to be plan B for the Broncos. They seem to be the front runner right now. Again, I don't rule out the Cardinals. I don't rule out the Jets or the Browns. I think on that list, the Jets probably are at the bottom. Maybe they're not as interested as the other teams, or they're not as likely to get him. But again, keep it open here. It can't be a long-term deal with Keenum. Like if the Broncos get him, do they still draft a quarterback early? Do they take a Baker Mayfield or a Josh Allen, or do they go get some protection or some help for Keenum? It's up in the air because you don't know what Keenum you're going to get. You don't want to sign him long-term if you're getting a rookie quarterback, because I'm a fan of starting your early pick rookie quarterback early in his career, maybe day one. So it's very interesting. Maybe that opens the door for Josh Allen because he's the guy that needs to sit and learn. And I didn't think the Broncos would take a guy like that because I thought they're a win now, but it makes a little more sense if they get a starting a veteran right now. That makes a little more sense. Maybe they push for McCarron. We'll talk about him in a little bit here. But very interesting. Keenum I loved his play last year. Awareness was high, very mobile, very surprising. But again, he had some. People are realizing more and more now how serious Diggs and Thielen are. That might be the best duo receiver in football. I mean, you look at there's a couple other guys. Antonio Brown's obviously the best receiver in football, so whoever you pair with him is going to be up there. If Will Fuller stays healthy, you got Hopkins and Fuller. That's probably the best one if you stay healthy. But Keenum had himself some weapons, so maybe the Broncos got the weapons, so we'll see. I just don't want to see some team give him a long-term deal. Maybe you can pay him now. That's just how the market is now. But maybe front load it. Maybe make it so you can get out of it. It's going to be very interesting. On to another Vikings quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater. Reports saying that he's likely to get a 1-year deal. Makes sense. Maybe a prove-it deal. He does want to start. I did see Panthers and Chiefs or maybe the top teams. That's surprising to me. I mean, not surprising that they would be interested. And I'm surprised if he would be interested because he wants to start. He's not going to go to the team 1 year where he just sits around. He might as well go back to the Vikings. So, obviously, he went behind Cam Newton, and he's not playing. So, it's a little surprising to me. And I know North Turner's over there. The Chiefs, it's mainly a fit. That's why people are talking about it. Maybe having a backup for Mahomes is very important because you don't know what you're going to get from him. They're obviously very confident. But if it's going to be a 1-year deal, and if it's going to be a team that he probably will be the backup on, why not go back? We'll discuss this more. We got a free agency video tomorrow. We do plenty of prediction videos I got 2 other guys on the show. We break down who we think they're going to go. We got a video for the 3 Vikings quarterbacks all in one, so that's going to be a good one. So we'll discuss Case Keenum, Teddy Bridgewater, and Sam Bradford tomorrow, which is Tuesday the 6th of March. So stay tuned for that. We'll discuss it more. But again, the Teddy situation, people just assume he's leaving. I don't think that's the case, but we'll see. Another quarterback, A.J. McCarron, starting to heat up with him. Back to the Browns talk. Maybe likely he's going to the Browns. It's mainly because what Saquon Barkley did at the Combine. We'll discuss Combine stock reports and rumors for the draft in another video. But Barkley may be the first pick, so that could mean McCarron, and then maybe you draft the future guy at pick 4. That makes a lot of sense. So get a veteran in there, get good talent around him. No excuses why he can't be good. Still a lot of young guys, but he's still young. So it makes sense that the Browns can go with the backup quarterback from the Bengals, A.J. McCarron, as their quarterback this year, compete with Kaiser. Or we did our free agent prediction on him. At the time, it sounded like the Browns were going to get they're still probably going to get a quarterback either at 1 or 4. So it didn't really make sense to me to get a rookie quarterback, have Kaiser, who has a lot of potential, and McCarron. So interesting talk, but it's going to tell us a lot. If they go out and sign McCarron, then the first picks, it'd be surprising. It's got to be Barkley then. It's going to tell us a lot. It's got to be Barkley. I don't know. Maybe they get a Josh Allen, the guy that needs to sit, ton of potential. Maybe they can't pass on that. I don't know. But free agency is really going to tell us a lot. Can't rule out teams like I've been mentioning. You're talking about the Bills. Maybe I could have thrown the Bills in the mix on the other quarterbacks I discussed as well. But then again, the Jets, the Broncos, the Cardinals. I don't see the Vikings going for McCarron. Do not see that at all. But yeah, a lot of rumors heating up for him back to the Browns. Back on that, even though it's a different GM for the Browns, that different guy tried to trade for him mid-season. That didn't happen, so that could mean something. So I think both guys got to be on the same page that they like McCarron, even though it's the coach that is probably pulling for him. We know he likes McCarron. On the Nick Foles, though, big news with him. Apparently, there was an AFC team that offered a second-round pick for Nick Foles, and there's multiple teams that have been in discussion about trading for Foles with the Eagles. Nothing super serious there except for the AFC team, which I'm predicting is the Jets. You look at the Jets and the Browns. I think the Jets are more likely to bring in Foles than the Browns, but why I pull up those two teams, they both need a quarterback, and they both have multiple second-round picks, so they wouldn't be afraid to offer that. But what I've heard is that the Eagles want a first-rounder at least. They got a first and a fourth from the Vikings for Sam Bradford, and Sam Bradford didn't win them the Super Bowl. Nick Foles won them the Super Bowl. Bradford was probably going to be the backup to Carson Wentz anyways. Nick Foles is probably going to be backup to Carson Wentz anyways, but he won a Super Bowl. So they're fine with keeping him in a backup. They didn't pay him a ridiculous amount of money. They're going to see what they can get. Wentz, maybe he won't be 100% week 1, so maybe it's a good idea to hang on to Foles. But if somebody offers him the first, you gotta take it. You just gotta. Very good quarterback, but maybe a system guy from what we've seen. But again, the AFC team I'm predicting is the Jets. Maybe that tells us they don't think they're going to get Kirk Cousins. What does that tell us about the draft? Do they want to draft a future guy to not start now, or do they not like the quarterbacks? Do they want to get a veteran guy and get other pieces in there? Do they want to take a running back? Do they want to trade up and maybe get Barkley? Free agency is going to tell us a lot. It's already getting crazy. But enough of these quarterbacks. Talking about quarterbacks too much. I want to discuss Jarvis Landry. He's going to sign the franchise tag. So what does that tell us? That he's most likely getting traded. The Dolphins, Jarvis Landry and his agent, and other teams, just groups of three there, were meeting at the combine. And then all of a sudden he wants to sign the franchise tag. I thought he was going to be traded immediately. If not, there's got to be something. There has to be something he knows that everybody knows that we don't. Like between the Dolphins, the team that they're trading for, and Jarvis Landry and his agent. After discussing with other teams, possible trade, he goes and signs it. I think he got traded. I think he's getting traded. I think it's pretty much a lock. Apparently there's 7 teams interested, but there's 2 teams with the most serious talks. That is Chicago Bears and the Baltimore Ravens. There's apparently 5 other teams, and kind of got to predict. We heard stuff about other teams, but it was just speculation. But if I had to predict the 5 other teams, I'm looking at Tennessee Titans. I'm looking at the San Francisco 49ers. The Saints, kind of a wild card team. I'm looking at the Jets possibly, and then who's that other team? Kind of up in the air there. I mean, everybody can make their prediction. Receiver needy teams, but again, the Bears and the Ravens are the teams that are in serious talks. That doesn't mean those are the teams that are more likely to land him. I know Titans players are trying to recruit him. I predict him to go to the Titans. Right when the NFL season ended, I was kind of feeling that either the Titans or the Bears. He made a video posted on Twitter. A lot of you probably saw. He wants to win. So where's he going to? You look at the Titans and the Saints. I think those are the top 2 opportunities there. If the opportunity comes, I'm pretty sure he has to agree to the trade. That's why he was involved in the meetings with his agent with those teams. So very interesting. But you look at the Bears and the Ravens are the top teams. I mean, he wants to win now. So right away, people may just assume the Ravens. But I don't think so. Obviously, I think he'd rather go to a better team than both of those 2 teams. Maybe, like, again, the Titans or the Saints, maybe the Niners. But you look at the Ravens and the Bears. The Ravens are kind of like they got to win now. But are they in the position to win now? They drafted well on defense over the past years. But I think they have a tight window right now. And with the Bears, they're not going to win now. But they're putting together a future. They do have to draft well. They do have to have a better free agency than they did last year. But if I'm choosing between the Bears and the Ravens, I think it's the Bears. The Ravens will be better this year than the Bears, but in the future, I don't think it's even close. I think obviously the Bears, again, they have to draft right. They have to play free agency right. They can't mess up in there, but they got their new coach in there. I think the Bears are the team if you're choosing between those 2. But again, the Titans are very appealing, especially with Marcus Mariota, but they have to make a trade. What would the trade involve? Apparently he wants to get a contract extension like right away, so that maybe makes the value go down because that makes it more cap space, a cap hit, I should say, with that team. So maybe he doesn't have to get up a lot. Talking about they pick 11, Bears pick 8, they want to swap, but I think the Bears have to give up more. That's only 3 spots is actually a lot, though, especially for the Bears. The Bears, I think, have their sights set on one of the linebackers, looking at Tremaine Edmonds and Roquan Smith. If you move from 8 to 11, you're screwing yourself there if you like one of those linebackers. So, very tough situation. What will he go for? Maybe it's a 2nd round pick. Maybe it's a 3rd. Maybe it's a 4th. We saw Marcus Peters get traded for basically nothing compared to what his talents are. So it's gonna be very interesting. But if he ends up getting traded for something not so good, I'm gonna be questioning teams that didn't trade for him. Like, you couldn't offer anything better than that because he's a good talent. The receiver market's going to go way up, especially if Odell gets his $20 million. So I think you give this guy his money now if you trade for him, and it's worth it. It depends on what team you are. Maybe the Bears don't want to do it. Maybe they rather draft receivers, keep building with that young group. Maybe have somebody grow with Trubisky makes more sense. So and then there was rumors with Jordan Howard getting traded. Apparently they're false. It did make sense to me at first, though. It was a little surprising because I know I like Howard, but maybe Howard doesn't fit that Nagy offense. Maybe doesn't it can work, it can fit, he can be good, no doubt, but maybe he doesn't 100% fit. Maybe Tyrique Cohen fits a little more, but he's not a every down running back. So it made a little sense. And the rumors said that the Bears were going to get a third in return. That would be good. I would like the deal, honestly. Bears fans didn't like it. They don't like getting rid of Howard. Obviously, we think it's false right now, but being a great running back class and gaining a third in that, if that was true, I think it's a good deal. You can find your other running back to split with Cohen, and you get Jarvis Landry. I don't know. It wouldn't be such a bad deal, but supposedly it's false, and that doesn't surprise me either because it wasn't a big name guy that first reported that. The big name guys that made it false, really, is what it was. But nothing would surprise me at this point. But on to another guy, Allen Robinson, maybe another Bears target. He's supposedly not getting the franchise tag. At first, we thought he was going to get the franchise tag from the Jags. Now he's not. Surprising. I think it fit with him. A 1-year deal. A franchise tag's a 1-year deal. Maybe he gets a 1-year deal anyways because of his injury. It's kind of a prove-it year. I think he'll be okay. But it sounds like if the Bears lay off of Jarvis Landry all of a sudden, it's because they know something. It's because the Jags aren't going to franchise tag this guy, and they have a shot at him. So I look for the Bears maybe to land Allen Robinson, if not Jarvis Landry. It'd be a good move. It'd be a good move, and then you don't need to overdraft a receiver at 8. I do like Cortland Sutton a lot, but you can focus on linebacker or corner there, so it makes sense. Obviously, there's more landing spots besides the Bears. You can go back to a Jags on a regular deal. Maybe the Jags don't want to use the franchise tag on him because they want to use it on Aaron Colvin or somebody else. You look at the Jets, you look at the Niners for Allen Robinson, look at the Ravens. So plenty of teams that he can go to, but that's the latest news is that they won't franchise tag him. Again, people may take it's something to do with him, but it may be something to do with another player on the Jags they want to use a franchise tag on, or maybe they're worried about his injury. They know more than anybody else about his injury. So obviously franchise tag's only a 1-year deal, but maybe he's not good to go. I don't know. Talking a lot about the Bears guys here, but Kyle Fuller apparently won't get the franchise tag. That may surprise a lot of people because who are they going to franchise tag? Really, they got no one else, but it kind of sounded like he didn't want to come back, but I think he is now. The reports are saying he's open to signing a regular deal. I just think he didn't want the franchise tag. That's why we first heard that. So maybe the Bears bring him back. I think they need to get him back. They're going to lose either him or Mukamara. Maybe they get them both back. Maybe they lose them both. But I think they need him back. I think he's open to coming back to the Bears. It just has to be a long-term deal. A little risky with this guy because I don't want to say bust, but he wasn't looking too good until this year. He had a really good season. So I think the Bears got a lot of DBs that played well this year, but they played well for the first time. Maybe they were young. So it's a little risky. Don't want to give this guy too much money. So the franchise tag makes sense to me, but obviously I think he doesn't want it. That's the situation there. So plenty of teams in the market for corners. So another guy to look out for. But the latest news is the franchise tag won't be used on him. Maybe it won't be used at all. I don't know the Bears situation over there. Never can predict what the Bears are going to do. They're very interesting free agency and draft team. So we'll see. Another defensive back, Tyrique Matthew. Rumors of him being traded. Are they true? Not sure, but La Canafora seems to think he will not be on the team. It'd be surprising if he was on the team. Really no news on trade targets. I'm just speculating here. The Jets would be a good spot. Maybe move him back to corner. Todd Bowles and him very tight, so that's why I thought of the Jets. He's a good DB in general, but I like him a lot at corner. The Jets need a corner. Pair him with Jamal Adams and Marcus May. Could be very fun. So I would look out for the Jets. What would they trade, though? The first round's way too early. Obviously, they have 2 second-rounders, so maybe they tried to trade for Foles, maybe with one of those 2 second-rounders, so maybe it is used for Matthew. So the more interesting stuff. He seems to be surprised on him getting traded. He hasn't heard anything on that yet, so maybe it's just false, but some trustworthy guys, or one trustworthy guy was reporting that he could possibly be traded. So something to keep an eye on there. Michael Bennett, supposedly on the trading block. Several teams interested. The only one we know of is the Atlanta Falcons. What would they trade? Seahawks are in a very strange situation. They could let go of him. You look at Averill. You look at Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas. I don't expect them to get rid of all of them, but it sure maybe look like they may get rid of some there. What does that mean for the defense? I think it can still compete if you keep them together. But I don't think you want to go in a rebuild mode, too, when you got Russell Wilson on offense. You do need to get him some weapons. The offensive line's been beat up. So prediction is Seahawks will probably still be good, but it's a fishy situation over there. I don't know what's going on. To the Falcons, what would they trade for him? I really have no clue. It sounds the Seahawks are making it clear that they maybe want to move on from him, or maybe they'll have to cut him. So maybe you won't have to trade much for him. A lot of teams that could use them. I think the Packers could be a team to look out for. I see him in Mike Zimmer's defense and the Vikings, but if they're going to pay Kirk Cousins, I don't know if they can pay him. So a lot of teams to look out for. But the Falcons are the most aggressive in the trade talks with the Seahawks. What will they trade? Maybe a mid-round pick. Maybe it's a second-round pick. It's really up in the air. But again, because the Seahawks are making it clear they want to shop him, maybe they'll cut him. If they don't, then maybe it's a mid-round pick. Maybe it's nothing huge. That makes more sense to me. But on to another Falcons guy, maybe heading back to the Chiefs, Dontari Poe. Supposed to be moving on from the Falcons. It's not supposed to be back. I didn't think he really fit there either. I was surprised when the Falcons got him. Didn't really have a huge market last year, which he's a good player, so that was also surprising. Maybe he goes back to the Chiefs, but a team I'd look out for, just in my opinion, Redskins. I would look out for the Redskins possibly to land him. They need interior D-line. In the draft, they could look for one of those guys, Vita Vea or Deron Payne, but look out for Dontari Poe for the Redskins. There's multiple teams. It's just a team that's just pops in my head right now. Maybe back to the Chiefs. That'll be interesting. That's where he belongs. So we'll see. DeMarcus Lawrence, another edge rusher guy, supposedly will get the franchise tag from the Cowboys. They want to work out a long-term deal, but don't know if that'll happen yet. Maybe it'll happen during the season when an extension. For now, they'll place the franchise tag on him most likely. So that's really not surprising. What was surprising that they were actually in serious talks about a contract extension when we thought he was going to get the franchise tag originally. But I think both parties, he's not going to be upset about it. I think they want to wait, maybe see what his actual value is. Did have a lot of his sacks early in the year, so maybe that's what they can't agree on. So we'll see. Maybe during the season he gets a contract extension. Maybe it's at the end. Maybe test free agency again. So, but again, the report is that he is most likely getting the franchise tag from the Dallas Cowboys. And then last guy I want to talk about, Muhammad Wilkerson, obviously not officially released by the Jets, but he's going to be released. Maybe they try to get a trade for him now, but it happens so much. Like teams are going to release a guy, and then all of a sudden they want to trade for him. It doesn't work like that. It's not going to work. So he's going to get released. Wouldn't bring in much value for a trade anyways, even though his skill is definitely there. But his first visit already lined up once he gets released, supposed to be with the Green Bay Packers. So that seems that they're mutual there. They may have an agreement. They like each other. So look out for him going to the Packers. Packers could definitely use him. But there is plenty of teams I look out for Muhammad Wilkerson. We're going to have a free agency breakdown and predictions video on him tomorrow, which is Tuesday the 6th as well. Very interesting guy. If he can cut it out, whatever he's doing, just show up on time, get to practice, focus, and play. He's a good football player. And why he's really interesting is, and why he is going to be in this video that we discussed tomorrow. I'm going to have tons of teams, and that is because I think he is right now he's a 3-4 D end for the Jets. He was a 3-4 D end, but I think he can be a 4-3 D tackle. I think maybe the Seahawks can use him. I think maybe a team like the Vikings, Mike Zimmer likes to move guys around a little bit. Maybe he plays D tackle for them. Maybe they don't want to spend the money though. I think he can play 3-4 end for the Titans. There's so many teams that could use him. I think he can play 3-4 or 4-3. Obviously, teams may pay him more, be more comfortable with the 3-4. But I think he can play 4-3 D tackle. That's why I like him a lot. We'll discuss that more, where we think he'll go in the video tomorrow. So plenty of videos tomorrow, plenty of mock drafts to come. But that'll do it. We're going to do one of these for the draft. We'll do a stock report on the draft for after the combine. A lot to be done. A lot to see here. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. But that'll do it for this one. Goodbye.